To wrap up, Speaker, I'm just going to go back to what the NDP proposed as amendments so that it's clear what we think the government needs to be looking at and needs to address once we finish this debate. So a universal minimum wage with no exemptions for any category of worker, including employees who serve alcohol. The NDP certainly supports the minimum wage to $15 an hour. We're on record as actually reporting that we would implement a $15 minimum wage. When elected, and I think that was reported in April of 2016. 5 paid sick or emergency leave days for all workers and an additional 5 unpaid days. And I talked about that briefly, about how normally it takes 4 to 5 days for people to get over even a common cold. And so many workers in this province, particularly with single heads of households, single mothers, single fathers, perhaps working in jobs where they have no benefits, they need to be able to take a sick day, and recover so that they can get back to work and, of course, not infect the rest of the workers in their workplace. 10 days of paid leave for victims of intimate partner or domestic violence, which would be provincially funded. So it wouldn't fall on employers to pay. Actually, it would come out of the government coffers. If the Liberal government really is concerned about victims of sexual violence and domestic violence, then they should pony up the money and make sure that that is available to people so that they can get out of those situations. 3 weeks paid vacation after the first year of employment, up from 2 weeks. I mean, people have had 2 weeks paid vacation as long. Listen, I've been working for, I think, 45 years full-time, and that has never changed that I can remember. And so I think it's time that that people working in all kinds of situations, working in precarious work, working 12-hour shifts, working in dangerous situations, get 3 weeks of vacation after 1 year. The model that the government has introduced, which would be 3 weeks after 5 years, although it'll work for some people who are in stable employment, it certainly is not going to work for the 30% of the employees, workers in this province who are in precarious jobs. Card-based certification for all workers. I think it was the #1 ask for every group, every individual from the worker side who either made submissions to the changing workplaces, who made submissions to various ministries, who made submissions during the public hearings and gave their testimony during the public hearings. And so the government needs to go back. I think the NDP believes that it is discriminatory to only offer this out to certain sectors. You know, the government talked about, well, this is for workers who kind of don't see each other. They're not in the same workplace. They don't get together. It's hard to organize. And well, there's all kinds of sectors like that. I think about the IT sector and virtual home offices where people never see each other. I mean, I think this can apply to probably 70% of jobs today. You know, nobody is working in that traditional office setting anymore either, and so I think that we need to take another look at card-based certification for all workers. The banning of replacement workers, I talked about that at length, and about how it prolongs strikes and how only 3% of all collective agreements go into a strike, the negotiation process go into a strike. So it is not a far jump for the government to ban replacement workers. Defining in the ESA independent and dependent contractor, capturing millions of workers, ending the exemptions for collective agreements and successor rights to prevent contract flipping. And we know that that happens in many sectors as well, and not just the areas that the government is proposing it to be in. And certainly greater access to information during organizing drives. And the last piece, of course, the minimum wage, that servers and people under the age of 18 should be paid the same as every other worker in this province with respect to what the minimum wage will be. So with that, Speaker, I am done. I hope the government has been listening and that they go back and revisit Bill 148. Well done.